Now, the banning of mass gatherings as a means to stop the spread of coronavirus has hit many branches of society, and one of those groups, of course, is people of faith. Now, with government guidelines insisting that places of worship close, many churches have chosen to move services online. But one vicar is taking his own rather unique approach. Let's have a look at what the residents of a street in West London have experienced a couple of Sundays ago.
I hope you'll forgive me interrupting your afternoons. A blissfully peaceful Sunday afternoon. I'm here on a Sunday because churches up and down the land are shut, so people can't go to church. So my thinking was that the church must go to the people.
Well, joining me is the man himself, the Reverend Pat Allerton, also known as, from here on in, the Portable Priest. Very good to see you this morning. Look, why did you want to take this approach rather than just going online?
Well, we're online as well, but the idea just hit me, well, if people can't go to church, then the church should go to the people. And I had a simple thought of, what if I headed out into the streets of my parish? The Portobello Road runs through my parish. What if I started there, took a speaker system and simply played an old favourite hymn of the church and the populace, and then led people in a time of quiet reflection before leading them in the Lord's Prayer? And I thought, it can't be too offensive. So why don't we give that a go and see how it goes down? And yeah, that's what we went and did.
So, just to be clear about it, because there will be, of course, some people who don't necessarily agree with what you're doing. You know, you're not stood there doing a whole service and giving a long sermon. You're just doing sort of a little snippet, are you, on each street?
Yeah, exactly. So I sort of introduce it by saying, hello, who I am. I'm Pat. I'm a vicar in the Church of England. I'm actually your local vicar if I'm in the parish, from St. Peter's, Notting Hill. And I'm only going to take 5 minutes of your time. That's important to get up front. Only 5 minutes of your time. I just set out where we're going. You know, I'm not going to preach at you, even though I then do a bit of preaching. But I'm going to play a hymn. At the very least, you can sing along. And who doesn't like to sing along? It'll lift spirits at this very difficult time. But more than that, it points to a God who loves us, who wants to be with us and journey through this challenging time with us. It's Easter weekend. His son, Jesus Christ, is alive. We can know him. So I sort of say something like that. And then I say, after the hymn, we'll have a short time of prayer. And if you want to, you can join in saying the Lord's Prayer. But I stress it, I'll only be about 5 minutes, even though I then go on to be about 10 minutes.
I mean, you must be very aware, and I don't want to focus on sort of a negative side, because I think it's very positive in many ways. But whilst doing this, you have to be aware that obviously there are going to be people of no faith and people of other faiths who may be listening to this.
Absolutely, which is why I always premise it and sort of hedge it by saying, look, you might not have faith and that's fine. If that's the case, then just enjoy this as a beautiful piece of music. It'll be a communal activity. And that's what I've seen, you know, all over the place in different streets, is people coming to their windows, their doorways, even at safe distances on the street, and joining in a rare communal moment at these times. And it really lifting spirits. And I'm really not trying to push or force faith on people. I just invite people to join in if they'd like to, or just enjoy the silent reflection as we lift people before God who need healing, need strength, who are fighting this disease, as we lift our NHS. And then if they'd like to, they can join the words of the Lord's Prayer. But I really am sensitive to not forcing it on anyone and not using too much of people's time.
It is really interesting that obviously people often turn to their religion during a time of crisis, and it's quite interesting to be able to put that on people's doorsteps in a non-threatening way, if I can use that sort of language, and just say, enjoy the music, be a community, and make the most of what is a pretty awful but unusual situation.
Absolutely. And I think the main message, the main reason I'm doing it, of course, lifting communal spirits, community spirits, and lifting our hearts, but is to bring hope. And I think more important than anything right now is hope. When we're unclear of what the future holds, what it looks like, when we'll get out of lockdown, people are really struggling. And whether they're sick or not, or just, just feeling anxious or worried, the message of hope that I'm looking to bring, and the message of hope that Easter brings, that Christ really has risen from the grave, I think is touching people's hearts. And that's what I've noticed. Like, so many comments, hundreds of comments on Instagram, or Facebook, just saying, gosh, this has got me in, I'm not religious, but this has got me in tears. You know, I don't have faith, but I'm bawling my eyes out. I mean, could I read one quote to you just quickly from a hospital, from someone who, I did this outside Charing Cross Hospital when a friend said, why don't you go to the hospitals? And I thought, that's precisely where I should be. So I went and played it outside Charing Cross Hospital sort of 2 weeks ago. And I got this message on Facebook a few days later, and it said, hello, I'm not a religious person, but I wanted to thank you for what you did on Thursday night outside Charing Cross Hospital. My uncle was in there at the time and passed away alone the following morning due to coronavirus. Knowing he could have heard this on his last night on this planet brings tears to my eyes and warmth to my heart. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And then says her family.
Look,
that for me is why I'm doing
Pat, sadly we are running out of time to chat, but it's really nice to know that something positive does come out of this, and you are able to touch people in a very real way. Actually, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.